It feels like the state is doing its best to try to hornswoggle Iowans now at this point. The data shifts so often that unless your eyeballs deep in it every day, you're not going to be able to recognize the state's website from one day to the next. If a media company can't get this information, how are individual everyday Iowans supposed to get this? There's a lot that's happened. In the last 10 days, we've had 2 data shifts. I had been hoping that that data would be downloadable because it can take hours and hours to hand enter and scrape all that data. I mean, currently my daily update every day takes about 2.5 to 3 hours. The other complicating factor with that is that the state's website, you cannot use any kind of computer program, either built by yourself or built by someone else, to be able to gather that data. It's imaged, so it's not even an actual number. You're looking at a picture of a number. And today we gained access to aggregated deaths to a certain degree. We've got underlying cause deaths. That means that's the first reason you died if you were COVID positive. And then we have contributing factor deaths, or as the CDC calls them, multiple cause. That means that the person was COVID positive when they died. It did contribute to their death, but it wasn't the predominant reason. They may have had some underlying condition that made it easier for COVID-19 to kill that person. When a person, like at 10:30, I went to the deaths analysis, the outcomes analysis for deaths page, and it said we had 2,919 deaths, but the download said we had 2,015. That means that for Iowans, we don't know what county they lived in. We know whether or not they had a pre-existing condition, and based on what the data looked like yesterday and what it looked like today, all of the Iowans that died with COVID-19 got moved predominantly, large share, were put into pre-existing conditions. And yesterday they were unknown. Because we don't have transparent data, I can't actually know if those Iowans did have pre-existing conditions. The governor and IDPH is asking us to trust them. And that's difficult because the data shifts. The governor likes to change the data at least every 2 months. And lately, it's been more often than that. I think in the last 4 months, we've had 4 shifts, and most of them have been in the last month. When you get new information and they take away asymptomatic versus symptomatic when the person's positive, and they add this data and take this data away, or they add age groups and then take them away a week later, you can't trust the data is real. And that's a problem because we already have an issue in Iowa there's a certain percentage of Iowans who don't even think COVID-19 is happening. There's such a high level of denial in some people that when the data starts doing this, then people who do know that COVID-19 is real, we start to wonder whether or not we should even be trusting the data that is made available to us. Is this reliable? Is it not? And especially today, because we got those extra deaths, I was very hopeful that we would get more information, and we did get more information. That's great. Except in the download, deaths were removed from 29 Iowa counties on a day when we were given an additional 150 deaths. A lot of those counties were in the 3 to 5 deaths removed range. A number of counties were north of 10. And we had counties that gained 15 deaths or 11 deaths or 9 deaths. Were these deaths moved from one county to the next? Were they originally in one county and the state never contact traced properly and then they had to move them when they finally did? I don't know. And because we don't have a data dictionary, and God knows the governor couldn't be asked to come out today and talk with us about it, does she even know? Like, I can't answer these questions, and I want to be able to answer these questions because my messages have been filled up literally all morning and starting late last night when the data all changed. What's going on? What happened here? Why does my county have 70? It had 72 deaths yesterday, but now it's 59. What happened? I can't answer these questions. I want to be able to answer these questions and help Iowans understand what's happening in the data. And I just throw my hands in the air because I don't know. They reorganized a bunch of the deaths. So how can we trust that those deaths actually occurred? I mean, like, I look at Pottawatomie County and they had 13 deaths taken away. but those deaths have been there for months and months. Was IDPH lying to us months and months ago? Are they lying to us today? Which one is true? I don't know. I feel bereft of information, and that's not an emotion I like to sit in.
Not very clear and transparent at all.
Not in the least.
Smoke and mirrors sounds like.
It's anymore, and especially in the last month, it feels like working through the data, it's like I'm herding cats. We need the information that's released publicly to be true and sit in that truth, not change 10 days later, 2 weeks later, 4 months later. Providing public health data, that's eroding public trust in public health.